Hello, lovies. We are here for another edition of A Little Perspective, Finally Free edition. I'm here with three of my beautiful co-authors for Finally Free. It is a collaborative book that is coming out January 21st. Each of these ladies is a contributing author and has written a chapter in the book, and we are going to talk a little bit about those chapters, about them, and just kind of get to know them a little bit more. So thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today.
Thank you for having us.
So Miss Robin, why don't we start with you? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, let's see. What can I share? Well, my name is Robin Conerly. I currently live in Starkville, Mississippi. I am a member of Peters Rock Family Worship Center, and my pastor is the wonderful Pastor Joseph Hawkins. I love God, love serving God's people. I am a co-owner with my sister Pam of our Park Academy virtual school and after-school program, and co-owner of a new online store we're getting started. It's called Biological Besties. And yeah, that's pretty much enough.
Is Pamela your biological bestie?
She is, and we have 3 more.
Oh, how awesome. All right, Miss Pamela, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, it's going to sound a lot similar to Robin, but my name is Pamela Conerly, and I live in Starkville, Mississippi, and I go to the wonderful Peters Rock Family Worship Center, where my pastor is Joseph Hawkins, and like she said, I co-own Park Academy Virtual School with her, as well as after school program, and my Biological Besties, a little online boutique, and I'm just glad to be here. I am a child of God. I love God, and I say that I am gracefully broken to share what I've gone through, what the Lord has walked me through to help other people come out of. And I just like to be an encourager and a builder. And that's me.
Wonderful. That is awesome. All right, Miss Tykia, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tykia Rogers. I am the assistant pastor of New Season Ministries, and I serve alongside my husband, who is the senior pastor, John Rogers. I also own a business called Crowns of Glory Events, which is an event planning and design business. So I do weddings, birthday parties, baby showers, all things decorating, all things planning. That's my thing. I also parent 4 amazing children. And I love God, I love God's people, and I enjoy doing ministry, marriage, and motherhood. Those are my things.
I love that. How awesome. All right, so Miss Robin, why don't you tell us about what made you decide to be a part of this book, to write your chapter? Tell us a little bit about what your chapter is about.
Okay. Well, the morning Dawn released the project, I had just been praying, and I was like, well, Lord, because we were still in the middle of the pandemic. And I was like, well, I feel like there's something more that you want me to do, but I don't know what it is. But if you tell me what it is, then I'll do it. And then maybe it's probably like 10 minutes later, Pam said, she said, Robin, Dawn has a book project, and I think we should do it. And I just felt like, she told me the name of it, and I just felt like that what had just been praying about was what he wanted me to do. So I just called Dawn, and I just said, yes, I want to do it. So, which is crazy, but I did it.
Oh, I love stuff like that. I absolutely love stuff like that. So, Miss Pamela, you saw it first. What made you think that that would be something that you and Robin would be interested in doing?
Actually, I did see it first, but I had a friend who was a friend of Dawn's, even though I didn't know her, and she had already kind of like whispered our names in her ear. And when but I didn't know this until after the fact. And when I saw the little, I don't know if it was joining the group, I believe it was, and I just saw the name of the group, and I was just, I don't know, I felt like there was something inside of me that was breaking at that moment. Even just then, reading the name, Finally Free to Be Me, it was just a connection, is all I can say. It was, I would say, no, I can say more than that. It was God. It was the Holy Spirit. It was a connection. And I just felt like connected to that group. And I felt like I was connected to, then I read about the project. I feel like I was connected to the project because I know this, that who the Lord sets free is free indeed. But I wanted to walk in my complete freedom and to be able to give God the total praise and be able to just be completely who God wants me to be in a freer way. And I just connected and I just called her and I told Robin and she was immediately on. So I knew if she immediately said yes, then okay, this might be right. Because she's not gonna say yes very quickly. But anyway, and so we called her and we individually did our little thing done and it's been great from then on.
Oh, that's amazing. So tell us a little bit about what your chapter is about.
Okay, well, the title of my chapter is Don't Lose Your Cry. And it means to not lose your voice, to not lose the essence of who you are. And I just wanted to encourage people, if they've gone through something in life, if the enemy has tried to attack them, I just wanted to remind them that their voice is unique and that their voice has power and that somebody's life is connected to you using your voice. So when the enemy wants you to be silent, that's when you should cry louder. And so, and live louder and be who God has called you to be. Because I know that was my story, like losing my voice and getting it back. So I want to encourage people who have lost their voice or who may be in the process of losing it, that you can get your voice back and be who God called you to be.
Oh, that's excellent. What about you, Pamela? What's your chapter about?
Well, my chapter's title is Dear Night Bloomer. And it's somewhat similar to my sister, I guess because we go through things similarly. But it's Dear Night Bloomer because I wanted to encourage people who are going through night seasons or found themselves in dark situations that you may just be a night bloomer. At the moment when I was in a dark place, I was watching a movie and it was this saying on the movie, it was like, there are some flowers that only bloom at night. And I was like, really? And it was, one of them was a catalea or something. It was in Spanish, but I went and looked up the flowers that only bloomed at night. And I was like, how is this? You need the sun to open up. And at that moment, all I could hear is, there are some people that I've called for a night season. And there are some people that are going to bloom up and become their 100% best selves in a night situation. And you may be like, how is that? And why would God allow that? But it's because he's called you to that. And there are some people who, because when it's nighttime, it's not always that there's no light. It's just that the sun's on the other side of the world. And if those people in those night seasons, they are strong because they can pull from light that is so far away and that other people cannot see, and wondering what is it that could have them open up. Now, I'm not trying to boast, but I boast in God, saying that he is that light, not me per se, the person Pamela Conerly, but the Lord on the inside. He's the light that shines on the outside, and he's the light that has allowed me to open up and bloom in a night season. Because there were, in the chapter, I tell of how I did not bloom in a night season. So I wanted to flip everything that I've been through and encourage others that, no, you're a night bloomer. Rise up, bloom, and perfume the room.
I love it. I love it. All right, Miss Tykia, tell us a little bit about your chapter and what is it about?
All right. I don't know if I could tell it like Miss Pam. That was so powerful. But the name of my chapter is Love One, and it's actually a story. Well, let me tell you why I chose to do the anthology. I had this testimony in my heart for a long time, and I had actually just done a show. I have a show that I do for my church called The Grace Place. And so I had actually just done a show with my husband's ex-wife, which is my stepson's mom, and we did a show together on co-parenting. And so I really just, the response that I got from the people who had seen it and they were so inspired by it, I said, God, give me more platforms to share this story. And then that's when Pam introduced the anthology to me. And I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. Because I had not published a book because I was like, I just didn't know where to start, And so, like, at this point, I'm like, okay, so everybody is going to do everything for me. And I just have to write it raw and submit. And so when I figured out it was that easy, I was like, okay, this is my chance to jump on it. And so the name of my chapter is Love One, and it's about how God called me to love the walls down, to co-parent with my husband's ex-wife, and to indirectly disciple her and win her. And so that is what no matter how bad the situation is, or no matter how bad the relationship is, whether it's hatred, jealousy, envy, or strife, at the end of the day, consistent love wins all. And so I really enjoyed doing the chapter, and I'm so excited for people to read it, and I pray that others are inspired by my story.
Oh, wow. That is, I think you did, I mean, Pamela did a great job. I think you did a good job. That's incredible. That takes a lot of strength. And I love, the three of you give God the glory, which is, obviously amazing. But I think that you guys also have a little bit of credit in stepping out on faith and in following those things. You ask specifically, Robin, for like, okay, what do I do next? And when you're presented with it, instead of being like, oh no, I mean, I wasn't like, that's not what I was thinking about. That's not what I meant. Like, so I still give you credit for following through, and for doing that. For you bloomed in the night, but while he was the light, you still did that, and now you're taking all of those things even further and spreading that around to others so that they can be inspired too. So I love that. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for that. So Robin and Pamela, you guys both you spoke of the COVID, being a factor in things, and I'm sure with an after school program or daycare that has been seriously impacted by COVID. So, what is that when you guys started the virtual school? Is that how that came about, or did you already have the virtual school? I don't know which one of you want to answer. That's why I addressed both of you.
Would you like to go, Pam? Oh, well, we already had the after school program, but we started the virtual due to the pandemic because we had a lot of parents who they weren't ready for their child to go back to school, and then they didn't have access to the internet or technology. And so we just, with the help of the Lord, came up with ways that we could implement the virtual academy and let students come to the building to get their work done with us. And then parents can go to work, do whatever they have to do, and then come pick them up, once they finish. And they can go from 7:30 to 5:30.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. That is fantastic. Pamela, how do you feel the after school program has been affected by by COVID?
Well, I think because, at first, well, we're still in the pandemic, but the 6 feet of social distancing, we wanted to abide by that. And we had to implement a very strenuous entrance policy for the kids where they're washing on the outside of the building and it takes a minute for them to get in the doors. And then once they get in the doors, they have to kind of like stand out, separate themselves 6 feet. And it's they would rather be more social with each other than we allow them, but we just want to make sure that everyone's safe and that everyone's, can go home and be with their families and with their loved ones on another day, and no one gets sick and no one, spreads anything or even, God forbid, dies or anything like that. So I think the social distancing has been the biggest factor with kids because they want to touch. I'm a toucher. I'm a hugger. I like to tickle little babies, and that's just me. That's who I am. And so I had to catch myself a couple times and just be like, let me see, elbows, because I wanted to just do some physical touch because I want them to know that I love them, and things are semi-normal, but you want it to be as normal as you can for kids. But that's been the biggest factor, the social distancing.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
For them and me.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a hugger, and while I'm not home, I'm home most of the time. I'm not out much, but when I see people, like I'm a hugger. It's hard. And it's almost feels like the more you don't see people, the more you want to hug them. And it's hard. And I know with the babies, it's really hard. Because they don't get it, they don't understand. Adults, we get it, and it's still hard for us. So I'm sure that that's been very challenging for you guys. Miss Tykia, why don't you tell us? I'm sure that you've had a couple of things, whether it be through the church or what have you, that you have had to overcome because of COVID. Why don't you tell us a couple of things in that realm?
Well, as we know, being an event planner, my whole entire livelihood is based on gathering, right? So, and all weddings were canceled, events were canceled because, we were on a shutdown. There was no gathering. So in my mind, that was my time to regroup and say, okay, well, I wasn't expecting this, but if this continues on, or if this is our new normal for a little while, how can we make money in my company if nobody is gathering? So I branched out, and I also have been doing t-shirts like the little one I have on right now. It says "Note to Self, Go Harder," which is just a reminder to always just give everything that you do your 100% all. And so I just make encouraging shirts, and I have several other things that I'm working on, not only just in my secular business, but also ministry as well. We've had to regroup and strategize a lot. Some people have not come back into the sanctuary, even though we have opened back up. So we're having to revamp our technology, our equipment, our media. And so, that affects everything. So it really opened up our mind to think past our boundaries and limitations. We usually just do things one way that we're used to doing it, but now we're reaching more people in our ministry, and also in my business. I'm being very much more versatile. So maybe I'll write more books that can bring in income. My t-shirt line, I'm launching that, and just adding a lot of different more components to my business, where I was thinking one track, but now I am being very versatile because of the shutdown. So it's actually a great thing for me.
Yeah, it sounds like you've really, taken off and run with it. When you mentioned earlier that you were in event planning, I was like, ooh, because I know a couple of caterers and event planners, and they've really, struggled. Some of them have been able to kind of pivot, and which we're so tired of that word, but I don't think there's one that really describes it any better, and overcome that. And you have definitely done that. That's awesome. That's kudos to you.
I'm
So,
excited.
ladies, so what Miss Robin, what are you hoping to somebody reads your chapter, what are you hoping they take away from it? One or two things that they take away from the chapter that you've written?
Let's see. Well, like I said before, I would say that there's power in your voice, because we know the world was created. God spoke it. And so there's power in your voice, and that you should use it whenever you can to speak up and be who God's called you to be. And then I would say another thing is, no matter what obstacles, or no matter what hard times, or no matter what things in life may have come against you to try to knock the wind out of you, or to try to silence your voice, you can get it back with God. I mean, there's no failure, there's no high, there's no middle, no low, no dry place, nothing that he can't revive you from. He can't bring life back into. So whatever you're going through, no matter what you're going through, if you give it to him and seek him, he can revive it.
That's awesome. Miss Pamela, what are a couple, I know that you spoke the nightlight, but what a couple of takeaways that you would like for them to have?
I would like for the night bloomer, or whoever reads it, if they're not a night bloomer, to just know who you are, and to open up even in bad or seemingly bad times, and open up even the more when it would seem like the situation should cause you to clamp down and to close off. Go against that and open up even more. Like Robin says, don't close your mouth. I did all that and say, don't close your mouth, and open up your life and your heart even the more, and don't close down on yourself and don't close down on others, and don't close down on God, because you never know what your story, what little nugget could help someone else. You don't know if right then someone could be in a nice season of feeling suicidal, as I was. I did not go through with it, praise God, but could be suicidal at that very moment, and your very story could reach down and could help them to come up out of a dark situation. Your very story could help them to open up to someone to get some help, that where maybe they didn't feel like they could get help, or maybe they felt like they couldn't say anything. So just open up.
I love it. I love it. Miss Tykia, what is a takeaway or two that you hope that you get out of your chapter?
Well, my title is my takeaway. Love won. Love wins every time. And so that is the whole thing of my story. I just want people to know the love of God can overcome anything that you go through. And it's not just, that's something that I can apply with my children. That's something that I can apply in my marriage. That's something that I can apply with the members of my church. So, I mean, it works everywhere across all the way across the board. Love always wins. And so that's my takeaway. And I pray that people will read it and they will say, no matter what situation or circumstance, or no matter how bad it is, no matter how bad the conflict is, if I love someone, that God can reach them and God can soften any hardened heart.
Yeah, I love that, because it also turns it away from you trying to control the situation or the other person, and more so just, if as long as I focus on my actions and what I'm doing and knowing that I'm doing the right thing and following the right way, that it will work out. And even if it doesn't work out, like luckily for you, the co-parenting has worked out well, but even if it doesn't work out to where it's all rainbows and butterflies, it still works out best if you go through it with love in your heart, because if you don't, then it's definitely not going to work out. And love does win. It always wins. And I love it, for lack of a better word. That's excellent. All right, ladies, so why don't you I'm going to ask each of you to kind of tell us where the best way for people to connect to you. I am 100% certain that somebody listening can relate to at least one of you, if not all three of you. I love that all three of you are on at the same time, because your stories all go along so well together. And so that worked out really nicely. So Ms. Tykia, why don't you tell us the best way for people to get a hold of you and contact with you?
All right. Well, the best way for people to reach me is either through Facebook. Of course, I'm on Facebook. My name is Tykia Quinn Rogers on Facebook, and I use that page. I don't have more than one page, so I use that page for personal and ministry purposes, business purposes. So you can reach me there. I also, if you would like to connect with my business, I have a Facebook page, which is Crowns of Glory. So they can look that up and see my event planning business, where you can book or buy my shirts or other things that I have going on for my business. You can follow that page. Also, you can email me at tykiarogers@gmail.com, and it's just my name at Gmail. And so if you have any questions, ministry, business, anything you want to reach me about, those are the two best ways to reach me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Miss Pamela, why don't you tell us the best way for people to connect with you?
Well, like she said, Facebook is a great way. And it's just my name, Pamela Conerly, and on the feed or messenger. And then I do use Instagram a lot, and my name there is I am Pamela Conerly, just my name again, or email. And my email is Pam, Pam, _ Conerly, CONERLY, @hotmail.com.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, Miss Robin, how can people connect with you?
Just like them, Facebook, my name is my page, and it's Robin, and that's ROBYN Conerly. And my email is Robin Conerly, ROBYN BEAUTIFULERLY@yahoo.com. And I have an Instagram page, but my name on there is Beautiful Robin. That's BEYOUTIFUL and ROBYN.
I love that. I love that. All right, ladies. Well, thank you so much for taking time to chat with me today. I cannot wait to read your chapters. I think you guys will truly inspire so many women. And I look forward to seeing you guys blow up. I know your event planning is going to be better than ever after everything settles down. And I can't wait to see y'all's boutique. And it's just going to be amazing. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Have a great day.
I enjoyed. Have a great day.
You too.